This meeting of the trustees of Lamesa Independent School District is now in order. It is 6:02 p.m. on July 21st, 2025. A quorum is present with all trustees present except Cindy Martinez. This meeting has been duly called and the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Government Code 551. Mr. Ritchie, will you lead us in prayer?
If you would please bow with me. Dear Lord, thank you for just Lamesa, Texas, the community, the students, the parents. It's hands down one of the best communities in West Texas, best communities in Texas, but we would like to reach our prayers out to all the people affected by the floods in Kerrville and in Ingram and in Hunt, and just those youngins, those parents, just everybody there, just keeping their hearts, keeping their brains, and just keep letting them heal, because I'm sure every town in the state of Texas just wants to help. And so just make sure that they know there's people praying for them. But bless Mary Elizabeth and her knee. Allow her to get a quick recovery, and just bless our students as they finish up summer and they get ready to come back to us, and just bring them all back safely. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Has anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, ma'am. We have two. First is Carter Sheltnick.
I just wanted to come to express thanks from the Jubilee for everything that the Lamesa Independent School District did to help us have the Jubilee. We couldn't do it without being able to use the school facilities. And everyone in the school facility just worked above and beyond what we could even hope for in order to make it a good situation for us. And just know it only happens once every 5 years, and so whenever it does happen, we want it to be a grand occasion, and appreciate so much the school district for making it possible for us to use the school facilities and offering us everything that they could do to help. And I want you school board members and the administration and everyone to know how much we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I compliment you as I did a while ago?
You can compliment me anytime you want.
We witnessed the work you put in to that and I appreciate Frankie and you sitting down and doing it, but you deserve to be praised as well. So good job to you for pulling it off, Carter.
Good job.
I have one more. Miss Susan Scott. She would like to address the dress code.
I really don't know what you guys are going to talk about tonight as far as the dress code's concerned. I have a 14-year-old granddaughter, and last year there was no dress code. There was no dress code enforcement, and we had battle after battle after battle about the clothes she was going to wear to school. And I know that she was taking clothes in her backpack to change when she got to school. And she was wearing crop tops, and she had a stretchy lace shirt that only had a band in front to cover her bra. Things that are cut down so far that it embarrassed me to be with her. So I just want to say, if you're going to have a dress code, and a lot of schools are doing away with it, if you decide to do that, that's fine. But I want to see it enforced. There are a lot of parents and grandparents like me that need your support to keep their kids from wanting to be like everybody else. And when they see other girls doing it, they're going to do it. So take that into consideration. Be a partner with the parents and grandparents. Her day doesn't need to start that way, and neither does mine. That's it.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Scott.
you
very much.
That's it.
Okay. Would someone please make a motion to approve the minutes of the budget workshop? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Who seconded?
Rebecca. Can I get a motion for the June board meeting?
Make motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
You had one opposed?
No one opposed. Motion carried, and Melissa seconded the
Okay.
financial report.
And I've tasked him with also squeezing in just one of the big things that we were going to talk about at the budget workshop. So whatever you want to start with, if you need to hijack the computer, you can, but I think most of yours is handouts.
Guys, this.
Thank you.
Give the fingers, but you know, and then
Thank you.
So we had a finance committee meeting this morning, and we got into the weeds quite a bit on the process of the zero-based forms that each teacher, department, individuals had a chance to submit, and then reviewed by their principal or director and sent to us. So we got into that and just kind of helped show them how we were using that process to work toward the budget numbers, follow up to get with campus principals and go through those numbers. And so to give you something a little bit more specific to one of the things that was mentioned in our meeting this morning was, and we talked, and there was a question actually raised in last month's board meeting to this as well, as far as getting a projection to where we're going to end up this year. And so I put that together for you. And so you'll see there that there's revenue, expenses, and surplus/deficit rows, and then 3 columns. So the first column is the budget. So that's the 24-25 budget number. Budgeted revenue of $18.3 million, expenses of $19.8. You have in front of you tonight a budget amendment for the month of July that includes the revenue for the loan from government capital for the purchase of school vehicles, as well as the appropriation of that money toward the purchase of activity buses and SRO vehicles, which the board previously approved. So we're amending that budget now to reflect that change because we have moved to get one bus and deposit on the second and so forth. So that's in front of you. So the second column, you can see those numbers, the amended revenue, as well as expenditure. Those two numbers equal in terms of increase. It's the 900+ thousand that was through the loan. And in the far right column is the 831. That's the projection on where I think we're going to finish the year up. And so you can see there a revenue of just short of 19.4 million. That includes the increased amendment as well as the increased state contribution. And I have tried to be conservative in that revenue approach. I think we'll do better than that, but I'd rather...
We don't want to give false hope.
Yeah. Because it's a tricky thing, especially when you're dealing with new legislation, TEA, and how they calculate that. So, and then you can see the expenses, 831 projected expense totals $20.5 million. I'm a little concerned about that because we have asked people to encumber everything other than, well, really to go ahead and encumber everything. And if they ordered stuff, it should have already been ordered. But I'm a little concerned that we may not be there. But we've tried to take into account with that number of $20,500,000. That includes the added expenditures for the assumption with that number is the purchase of the activity bus, which we're actually sent to pick up today, as well as the purchase of the SRO vehicles. If the vehicles are not purchased in hand by the end of August, then that expenditure would carry over into the next budget year. But just to explain to you, those numbers reflect the expectation of the amended budget for July, and the revenue, on the expense side, that includes the the August payroll, which is always a jump because you're starting a new year, as well as the capital expense of purchasing one bus and deposit on a second bus, as well as those SRO vehicles. That number, as I mentioned to you last month, is a little harder to stick. But I went back and looked at what we were trending this year. I looked at July and August for the last 2 years to see what types of things that might not occur to include on that. So I hope the 20.5 is correct, but I'm not as conservative in that. I could see that number coming in a little bit higher than what I've estimated there. But if those numbers hold, then we're looking at a deficit of 1.1 million, which is less than the 1.5 that was adopted. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I do think our revenue can be up, but I'm giving you conservative there. I am a little worried that I underestimate the expenditures there on that. And then I gave you just a little graphic. Y'all seem to appreciate those, and just kind of show you visually the changes between the adopted budget, the amended budget, and that. Of course, there'll be an amendment, as we always do at the end of August, because we'll have to amend by function some areas where we've overexpended and move some things around. So we'll have that. But right now, we don't think there'll be an added expense on the budget side. So.
Questions? That's big picture view. But before he gets into the actual financial report, I thought it would be good for you guys to see that.
Like I expressed this morning, I mean, to me, just based on the current times of school finance and all the balls that are in the air that are having to be juggled, if we can hold the budget, is saying something, but to come in under budget, I mean, as far as that deficit was at 1.5, and if we can come in and under that, to me, that's a win.
Yes.
Because the environment's not easy right now. From a
Well,
financial
that's
standpoint.
definitely the goal as we close out the year.
So I was afraid of
Yes, sir.
it going the other way.
Yes, sir. And again, I didn't want to inflate the expense number. I'm afraid I'm low at 20.5, but we can do it. I looked at August of last year. We had expenditure for the month of August at $4.5 million, and a big payment of that was in capital outlay. And I don't see us having that type of expenditure. Part of that's to settle up, and I'm sure there was some roof and some other things that were probably expense that warranted that. But tried to give you a good estimate. I want to qualify that expenditure side's is best guess today.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. Jump on into the
Yes, sir.
other.
So, got the first sheet, which is the revenue and expenditure budget versus actual. This is the third month that we put that together for you, and so you can see the activity through the month of June, as well as the unencumbered amounts and percentage of expenditures, as we mentioned a while ago, aiming at those. So you can see across there the expenses that we have. I will point out to you midway down the page under Other is the additional revenue, which is the loan funds, as well as we had a previous amount, I believe it was $200 in other resources that we received. So that 932 represents the loan proceeds as well as the funds that have been previously received during the year. And so while that is showing up on the activity side, it is not showing up on the budget side until we have amended the budget. So that revenue here is not matching what we just talked about on the other page because you've not yet approved it, even though you've approved the expenditure. So once that's amended, that revised budget number will change.
We've paid for one bus.
Paid for one, paid the deposit on the second one. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And so those funds were received right at the end of June. So you won't see the expenditure on this report because the checks were cut last week. So you're seeing the activity of revenue because we received it, we need to post it in June. But after the amendment, when we come back next month, you'll see the posted revenue in the budget form as well as the expenditures that were
Side of it.
Yes, sir.
And one thing about the buses in Albert, I haven't even told you this, but I was still on the phone with them last week. We added, for no cost, I traded some things out, a co-pilot chair, because we take such long trips. That way your driver can have another driver with them and then they can just switch, but they get to sit right by each other, which I thought that's a great invention for those late night
Well, a
drives.
lot of the buses now are doing that, because
Right.
I've seen the other schools, they have them that.
So both of these will have that in, which I was excited about. I think your drivers will really like it, Albert.
Let's hope they like each other first.
If they like each other, yes, sir. You are correct. They might not like it at all.
I was going to make sure that happens.
Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
No. And then we'll go to page 2. This is the year-over-year comparison table, very similar to the first page, but now we're looking at through the end of June 2024 versus 2025, just to give you a comparison of how we look in our revenue and expenditures compared to where we were a year ago. One of the things I want to mention is we're looking at this, so we looked at that page earlier on the projected revenue. So we budgeted a revenue for 2025, state revenue. Go back to that, I don't have that on that page. We budgeted $12.6 million, and TEA has paid us this year on $12.1 million. So they're actually behind because of the fall team submission. It's reduced the amount of payments year to date. But when we look at the summer data submission and recalculate that template, that's where we come up with that revenue of around $13 million that I had in the other report. So you're not seeing that here because it's not received, but based on the calculations of the summer submission, we expect to settle up in the fall.
That's what I was going to ask. They'll catch us up in the fall.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. So that'll be additional revenue. In the past several years, it's been a deficit settle up. So in September, they have taken funds out of the annual appropriation, which they did this year. But this coming September, we should see a positive settle up. Now that's based, it's significant because they were paying us at 12.1. They're going to owe us that additional revenue. But I want to point out that what we adopted in our budget was at 12.6. So we adopted a budget revenue of about $500,000 over what TEA started us out on. So although it's going to be a significant settle up compared to what TEA's been paying us, when you look at what we adopted in the budget, it's more about $300,000.
So when we settle up, that'll be even money.
It happens every year. Rarely does anybody hit it even.
Gotcha.
Every single year, because it's based off of ADA from a year ago. They either paid you too much, which here they've done that, and they take a little from the next year, or they didn't pay you enough, so they give you what they owe.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
And so you can see on this page, you can just see the difference between where we are at the end of June this year compared to last year.
Like the food services, is there something that happens in July and August that it jumps so decrease or increase? I mean, decrease.
Yeah. So
It's all running through.
Yeah, so you're running through, you have your summer program as well, and then you're closing out your books.
So it'll catch up.
Yes, sir.
That's what's going to had a date after June.
And I'd have to pull that, Mr. Mann, to see what, because most of our food services are actually coming out of this food service fund, so I'd have to pull that. Yeah, so our national food program is federally funded, and so we operate a separate. So your 199 general fund, and then the 224 food service fund, and so most of those expenditures are in there. So I'd have to look and see what this was. This was probably an expense that's not credible from the federal funds. So something was maybe bought equipment-wise or something that was a non-qualifying expenditure. If you don't have any questions on those, I'll take you to the expense by function. It's the same numbers. It's what you guys were looking at before I joined us. It's just looking at it by function, which is what we have. When you set the budget, you set it by function. So it's the same look that you just had, but without the object expenditures, without the revenue. So I'm doing that. Following page is the revenue page. Again, it's the same numbers that you saw on the spreadsheet, where I just put them all on one page. So at some point, if you guys are comfortable with those others, I can phase some of these out. One thing that these do show that my other, and it's just the amount of space you can fit on the spreadsheet, still read it, is these show a monthly activity for just the month by function, where on the report that I put together for you, there's not enough room to put another column. So, but if we need to, so that's why I keep it in here, because of that.
I mean, it doesn't look like the expenditures are, I mean, if I'm looking at it right, we're through, what, 10 months out of a 12-month
Yes, sir.
cycle?
Yes, sir.
So it should be running about 83%, somewhere in there. Total budget,
Yes, sir.
and we're at 86, so I mean, that's not bad. Is that, am I looking at that right on that last column on that
Go
first
back.
page?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so
We
we've...
set it about 87%.
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah, and through 10 months should be, if you're even out throughout the year, it'd be what, around 84%, 83.5%. And of course, it's not how it works. September, October typically are higher expense months. April is a big expense month for us with the student travel.
But over the 10
Over the
months,
course, yes, sir.
it's in line, I guess.
Yes, we're not a crazy number. Yeah. Now, after that revenue page, you have a couple of blank pages because we normally provide you capital outlay expenditures, and we didn't have any of those numbers in it, so that's why those pages are blank. If you guys don't have any questions, I'll just point out a couple of things on the check registry. It is probably the thinnest one since I've been here, just because June is the time that we haven't completely eliminated travel. We still have a few outliers with Career and Tech, some other programs that have staff or a handful of students that have done some travel, but it's really cut down. As again, we ask people to encumber and try to order before the end of the school year, so I think you see that reflected in a smaller check registry. One of the items I wanted to point out to you, if you'll look at page 2 on the check registry, down about the last 6 rows, just pointing out the Parent Square renewal. Something we've done now for a while, and I think it's a popular tool that helps us communicate with parents in the community. So just
And different programs renew at different times. You know, and y'all see them all. They all pop up at some point, but that's a yearly one right there. And a lot of them are unavoidable. You are required to have some sort of notification system. What was the old one we used to have, Frankie, before Parent Square? Remind. And I think it's been a success, Parent Square, since we moved to it 2 or 3 years ago.
I love it.
I do too.
and so just really not so much the expense, but just to let you know we're continuing that's been well received. So we're continuing on with that. The following page, about midway down, just pointing this out. So there's a final bill from UIL district. So the member districts for UIL contests for academic and athletic. Sometimes those districts cross over. I've not been here long enough to know if we are in the same district for both or in the spring or not.
We have a fall and a spring.
Yes, sir. So, but once those activities wind down, then your chair district sends out the final invoice for the amounts due that cover the track meets and the feeding the kids and track meet workers and I say track, but it's not just track; it's all
Everything.
events that we
Yeah, every school gets the exact same amount.
Yeah. And so that's divided out there. Got a quote below there for football helmet conditioning, something we do every year. It's required. It's a safety issue. That's a really low number, Coach Ritchie, for.
Yeah, I
don't know if
saw
there
it.
was- I don't know if there's another.
That meant
other
last
than that or
year,
not, so.
what that told me was last year's was higher.
Yeah.
Because you got to get them reconditioned every 2 years. And then after 10, you got to throw them out. You can't keep them illegal.
It's a game one expense at the check registry. It's page 3. It's 5840. And then on page 5, well, this is the last one that I had to point out to you guys, and if you have any questions, I'll answer those. But just pointing out the payment on the absence and substitute management, that's with Frontline. That's the program we use to track subs, sign up, cover teachers, and those kinds of things. So it's in the old days, there was somebody that kept a calendar book on their desk and was on the phone, starting at 6 in the morning to do that. So those are tools that have been around a while, but they're an important expense. It's a district our size. It's really not practical to do it
Once a year.
without the technical.
But as Melissa pointed out, that's also a once-a-year program type thing.
A few custodial supplies and things along the way. That's just the materials to do some floor wax, stripping, some of the summer maintenance things that we can't do during the year. And then I said that was the last one. Page 6, we did put to get an attachment to be able to got a scoop and a fork to lift pallets and that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure if that's the same one that they were looking at, but we had to do some line work, and so looking at a way that we didn't have to rent equipment, but use the existing tractor and stuff that we had and be able to do that.
And this where it says fuel card, is that just to pay the card that we have, or?
Where are
does
you
it
at?
have fuel card, like it says fuel card? It's not big amounts, I mean, just, what does that mean, fuel
Yeah.
card?
So that's a travel. So when someone's traveling for the district somewhere, if it's obviously they're not using a fuel card to go to Lubbock or something like that, but if they are headed out further south, going to Hill Country, going to a conference, taking kids to a competition, if they need to refill, then they
Not a bus, like a van, or something where they would actually
Oh,
use
Because
the credit
then on
card.
page 2 it says reimbursed, so I didn't know if they would also use their personal card.
We,
Because this one says
we
reimbursed.
have really tried to break habits of people. We still have about 1 to 3 employees that sometimes still don't follow procedure and they get reimbursed, but usually it's different.
And this may not be the time to bring this up, but I'll do it anyway. On the credit cards, are we able to track those good from a standpoint of, when I say track it, like an employee, take my wife for example, where she goes on a BPA trip, and she comes back and she's getting all her paperwork together to turn in, document everything. My understanding is the current, whoever we're using, credit card wise, it's not very helpful. And I guess my question is, are we to a point where maybe we need to look at changing to a different, I mean, I
No one
don't
has
know.
ever complained to me. I don't know if they've complained to you.
I do know that, like,
But
the
it
last
doesn't work,
the
huh?
last BPA trip they went on, they were scrambling to find cards that would work.
Yeah, mine gets rejected all the time, but I'm just used to that my whole life, so I just
So what does that mean?
I just call.
Yeah.
I call on the bag and they fix it.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just
No, I can
wondering
answer
if it's
that a little
time
bit.
to maybe
So-
go to a different credit card
Yeah.
company.
Because that
So-
could be an inconvenience when you're like getting
Well,
ready to come
yeah.
home. And
It's
like,
better than it.
you
I'm sarcastic. Yeah, it's better than it used to be. I'm not lying though. When I first used mine over here, it got rejected the
And why
first
would it?
time.
Why would it do that?
I was trying to buy kids pizza.
Oh, over the.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Why does that?
Yeah.
Why does it reject it that many
Maybe out of
times?
the area.
I can tell you, what it is we need fuel cards. We gotta get them reset, and all you gotta do is set up the pin. We just haven't had the fuel cards ordered yet, but they'll get on it. We just need to have everybody, we need to get at least 10 fuel cards and set up here. It's simple. We just haven't ordered it.
I just know we had a situation where we had some teachers that they were fixing to have to pull out their personal credit card because we couldn't get credit cards to work,
That's why
trying
we
to
don't-
get
we
gas on
don't-
the bus.
All of
Well,
them
and
expired.
what I tell, and I didn't realize we had problems that recently. Usually they call over here and we get it fixed very quickly. But you may know more than me.
Yeah, so I'll try to hit that thoroughly and quickly. So as Albert was just saying, specific to the fuel cards, is that cards were set up by a previous employee with a PIN code. Person's no longer here, and so there's been an issue with some of our cards where you get to a point where you need a PIN, and we don't have a PIN to get. So when I was first brought into that, I was pretty new coming in when it first came up. We talked about it last week. We had a situation last week, and so what I told them was to, and we've already been on the phone with the credit card company asking for PIN resets, but we're to the point where we're just going to cancel those cards and get 10 new fuel cards. Now
That's what I was wondering,
Yeah.
is if it was just time
So-
to clear the slate and start over.
Yeah, because it was 45 minutes of ring around the
Yeah.
rosy, and they can't,
They
it's
can't
a
answer
big,
questions.
it's a big bank and it's a national bank,
So we'll
and so
have
you're
them-
just getting a customer service person and they're bouncing around.
So we'll have the card before school starts, or do I mean?
I'm going to get involved with it this week and see what we can do. We will get them as quick as we
I
can.
know
And
one
I'm not
thing.
talking just fuel cards, I mean, I'm talking
Yes,
cards that
so
they're using to buy
yeah, and
meals
so
and hotels.
the other issue that we have now is, and this shouldn't be an issue with a hotel, but just in the time that I've been here, we've had a group that went to Lubbock and were, I think, at Main Event. I think it was a middle school trip.
It
of
was
some
the
kind.
attendance. It was perfect attendance.
Yeah, and so that was an occasion that this happened. So, and it's probably common with other credit card companies, but this particular company I used in another district as well. So, when we run any of us run a plastic, those purchases are categorized, right? There's all, and I don't remember the names, and because that's not my area that I live in, but they have numbers that tell them this is this type of transaction, right? And so to protect us from cards being misused, an employee, taking their family bowling, something like that. So what happens is our entity has certain categories that are already identified as, hey, this is a public school, they're going to buy these kind of things. When it's and it may not, and we're not saying that these are questionable expenditures. It's based on where you're running the card and what that vendor is associated with. So you may go to Double Dave's, or not Double Dave's, what's the Dave & Buster's. You go to Dave & Buster's, and you taking kids to eat there. You're on a trip. You're going to feed the kids, and they throw in some tokens or whatever. They can get a little game card. So you do that. But if Dave & Buster's runs through the credit card company and it says this is a beer distributor or a bar, and whatever their terminology is as a vendor, then it's going to block that purchase. That's what happened with Main Event. Is they were trying to pay for kids. They're calling him. Thankfully, it was during the school day. They called us, and we were able to do that. There's two ways that we can solve that. One, we can go in, contact either online or contact City, and tell them that that's an approved charge, and there's some work that has to be done to change that coding on the transaction. That's the time-consuming one. That's the one that if you're traveling with kids, especially if you're traveling with kids, if you're traveling and you're trying to check into the hotel, or you're trying to go to an event of some sort, and you're trying to swap that card and it's not going through, us trying to problem solve with Citibank is not expedient.
That's where the frustrations come.
Yes, sir. So,
Sorry, go ahead.
no. So I think in terms of that type of thing, we've got to do some more research to find out if there's some ways that we can avoid the cards being, because there's nothing wrong. There's not a balance issue on the card. There's not a. It has to do with how the credit card company is categorizing certain purchases or vendors. There's blocking those, and then with fuel, it's a really specific thing. We just need to that.
And
We've not
I
had
think
successful getting
part
that
of
changed.
part of the struggle is, and I don't know what all teachers and administrators do, but trying to document after returning from a trip, and trying to document that, and trying to get all the receipts turned in, and get all their T's crossed and I's dotted. Those credit cards, most of them, will allow you to get in there and set up. If that card's in an employee's name, set that card up to where they can go in there and see those transactions and make sure that on that trip that all those transactions are theirs and that they went to that place or they ate at this place or they stayed at this place or whatever. And I'm hearing that that's where a lot of the struggles is with the current credit cards that we have, is trying to get to that detail and trying to use, not so much that the card's denying or approving the transaction, it's that employee trying to get on there and get the information to document what they've spent so that they can turn it in to Kathy or whoever.
we can do some research.
And they're, and I may be asking to reinvent the wheel, because from a standpoint of, the credit cards, we're kind of at their mercy. You can't do anything nowadays with anything without a credit card. But trying to document it is where I'm hearing the struggles are coming in, because they can't, and I'm speaking like, and I know you know this, I'm speaking for my wife. Whenever she goes on a BPA trip, first thing she does whenever she gets back, she tries to log in to make sure she's got everything lined up and got all her expenses documented. Well, she was on the phone for 4 hours one day trying to get the credit card company to set that account up and never could get it done. And so that's, that's my only,
You can look
suggestion
in.
is maybe we need to look.
You can look into that.
Changing
and
companies.
work on it.
If they're not going to be able to, do their job, then
User friendly.
Well, I think there's some
There's
things
good
there.
credit
One of
card
the things
companies
that I was looking at this week, because of the fuel card in particular, but is just that there are bank cards with the amount of money that we spend. There are bank cards that will give us a cash back. Over the course of the year, it can be several $1,000s that we could generate just on a cash back. So that alone has me looking at some other options. And so then we get into that as use of the card, ease and reconciliation, employee access. Do they have access where they can see just items on their card? Because then you get into, do they need payment access or do they need other access that they probably don't? So it's working to find out what tools are available. It may just be, Kevin, that with any of our employees that they've never had that set up for them.
I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of, I mean, I've seen it in the school districts over the years. Whenever it comes time at the end of the month to pay that credit card bill, and that poor soul that's been assigned that task to reconcile all that stuff, and you know that bill is a massive stack of paper that whoever the unlucky employee of Lamesa ISD gets to reconcile that.
Yes, sir.
That is just, it's a major deal.
And one thing we've done, and not everybody has done it yet, but we've started to take pictures of everything, because what we found is, let's say you're getting gas somewhere, a lot of times that receipt, you don't mean to lose it, but you put it somewhere, it falls out of a pocket, falls out of a car. So what we've tried to get people to start doing is, as soon as you see the receipt, take a picture of it and send it to Melissa right then and there. And then if you turn it a paper copy too, that's great, but it's just kind of double. But I do think that's something he
I'm
can
just
look
saying,
into.
I know from what I've seen, it's a massive task whenever that bill comes in at the end of the month, and they're trying to make sure they've got receipts for everything. And
Yes, sir.
I just think those credit card companies, there's ways that they can make that process.
Easier.
There are, and that's part of what we'll look into, but we are going to look at it. I didn't think we had time to get it done before school started.
No, and
But, yeah, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at service, cashback. We're going to look at whether or not the number of cards we have out. And, you know, the whole piece.
Have we ever used Concur?
I have used it in other things, but never with the school.
That might be something you look into.
Do y'all use it?
It gets,
Is that what y'all use? Because it tracks everything.
well, if
You gotta
it
upload
has
the
your own
receipts
account,
and all
you have
that.
your own account, and
Yeah.
it's simple, and you submit your expense account.
I was
That way
looking at it
It's
in
easy.
one of my former districts. We were looking
It is pretty easy to use, I will say that.
That's an
There's
app.
another group called RAMP that's very similar.
So on the fuel cards, I know we're looking at getting some GPS units for school vehicles. I know you can get some fuel cards with some of those, and like the companies I've worked for, you can save anywhere from 21 to 25 cents a gallon filling up most places.
And Albert's pretty well versed on that stuff from his old.
Yeah.
His
We're
old
saving
trade.
Pretty good chunks of them. Just, you wouldn't think of that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to-
Oh, no, you're good.
I didn't mean to get us off on a tangent.
That's really all I
So
had
we're
to
looking
hit with
into
you.
getting.
Y'all have any other questions for me?
Well, we got to jump to these purchases over 50,000 before you're done.
Yes, sir.
And if it's okay with y'all, I would like to bump Chris up since he's here, and then I can talk about the HVAC after Chris. Are y'all good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris.
Chris
Come
can
on.
wait.
Hold on to your wallet.
Well, I won't say that I have good news.
But you didn't have as bad as you've had the last 2 years.
That is correct. Thank you for putting that's exactly
Gotcha.
You've got a spreadsheet in your packet, in your board packet. We will talk about that. I will tell you that we didn't have another huge increase, which is thank goodness. And let me, before I begin, as always, board members and administration, thank you so very much for allowing me to do this for you. It's been a long time, and I appreciate it. I certainly appreciate the relationship that I have with Mesa ISD and the administrative folks and everybody who works here. So I appreciate you very much. If you will notice on your spreadsheet, just a quick look at it, all the way to the right of that, you see your history there. You notice the big jump from 22-23 to 23-24. That has a couple of different reasons. One was inflation post-COVID. Second was you took possession of all of your new property, and it drove the insurance to value from about $127 million back then to roughly $156. Your renewal last year drove your total insurance value from $156 to $160, and this year it's up to $166. And when I say that's $166 million. That is, in essence, a replacement cost for all of your buildings in the district. It's on a blanket coverage So you have to keep a certain amount of coverage on that blanket in order to maintain the blanket. The cool part about that is that if one building goes out and there's a total loss, you can move coverage to that building, to said building that was lost. The big one that comes to mind, obviously, is the high school. Something happens to the total loss to the high school, you're going to use probably every bit of the $166 million. Okay? So that's just, I try not to get too insurance termy here, and I know that y'all been inundated with numbers all day long. So if you will notice, 2024-25, it was went from 673. You came out of a rate guarantee that year, a 3-year rate guarantee, and the base rate actually went up that year, went to 805. This year it came in at 825. You see the driver on that is property. Property is the driver everywhere. It's wind, hail. It's total losses in property costs that are just still inflated. Here's the good news. That just mere $20,000 rate increase is a sign, I hope, of the future to come, which is all of this inflation settling down. Hopefully we can get back to a little bit of normal. In the middle of that, the insurance marketplace had what they call a hard market, which means that nobody was given. So we're seeing a little bit of the tail of that. I will tell you that every single year I take this out to every pool that I know and anybody that would even look at this. We have 5-year loss ratios and we still have the $3.2 million claim on that. And so when they see it, they just say pass, no thank you. The biggest other competitor out there is TASB, in which, by the way, if TASB would look at us and give us a better rate, we'd move to TASB, okay? Or PCAT, we're PCAT now, currently, or PEAT is another pool. Another one is Texas Political Subdivisions. Travelers has a public sector division. All of those markets are shut down in West Texas. Nobody wants West Texas wind and hail roofs. That's just the reality of the situation. I will tell you that PCAT does do a really good job. They do a fantastic job. Through the claim that you had where the middle school was in essence shut down, I will tell you they really came to the table and did everything that we asked them to do. And some of the things that we asked them to do were kind of ridiculous. So they cleaned that claim up very well. They paid us everything that they should have paid us plus some. So they're a good carrier. They do what they say they're going to do, and I've been very impressed with them. Very bottom of the page there is your work comp. Your work comp was a company called CAS, Claims Administrative Services, out of Tyler, Texas. They do a great job. Nobody beats their comp. We're actually going to re-enter another 3-year rate guarantee, so that rate will be locked in. It can go up if your payroll goes up, but the base rate is locked in. Your claims on workers' comp looks great. So, all of that being said, I would wholeheartedly recommend, because it is your only option at this point, to move forward with the PCAT. With the PCAT renewal. My contract remains the same, no changes to it whatsoever. Just a couple of things I want to talk about. A quick roofing update. We feel like we've got everything pinned down. During one of the storms, the gym at South got water in it, and we really don't have any idea how. I think it came through Mr. Ritchie actually think it came through the grates on the side and probably under the door. And he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. But I'm going to tell you that I called him. I text all of my governmental entities after every rain. Leaks? What do we got? We got problems here? What do we got problems? And Mr. Ritchie was down with a squeegee. Everybody was off that day because he gave them off, and he was down there with the squeegee cleaning up that gym. And I will tell you, I was no help whatsoever.
He just did that.
Just got in the
He
way.
was there. He was working hard. And so roofing, only one area, and it's now we're tired of seeing me. He started me texting him too. We still have a leak at the new gym. It's been
One.
there. Yeah,
One.
Yes, down to one. They really don't know where it is. Our next step is to try to get a infrared thermoscan and a water test to try to figure out where it's coming in from. It's it's on one of the glass walls. It's still leaking. It's considerably better, but there's still something there. So Lee Lewis is still behind us, helping us. We have had to push that project and push it, and we will continue until we figure out exactly what that is. I have tried to remain calm, but Mr. Ritchie has tried to calm me down on several occasions. So I try to make sure that we are moving forward in a professional manner in order to get that fixed. But I feel like we're at the end of it, so I'm hoping that will cure itself, or we can cure it. Also, we got the recent TRS Active Care update. Also, do your employee benefits as well. It's another $40 or $50 increase to your employees. I wish that there was an easy answer for that. I will tell you that, yes, I will promise I will answer your question. I will tell you that other districts have tried it. Not all of them have done it the right way, in my opinion. Getting out of TRS Active Care is a very, very tricky thing to do. So we have to be very careful about it. And I'm going to explain to you why. We have to elect December of this year to decide whether we're going to be in the program September of next year. For health insurance and underwriting processes, that's almost impossible ask. They do that on purpose, correct? Because they don't want the healthy districts that can go out and get alternative, better quotes, and leave that program. That's just all there is to it. So we're continuing to monitor that. What I do is I pull claims. Danielle pulls claims for me in September. We look at your claims loss ratio, and then we'll pull them again right about in November to see if those loss ratios are okay. Again, the big problem is then you've got 9 months until September to see what it looks like. And they'll send you losses, but if your losses go up, you may not find a better deal than TRS. And then you've already decided to exit that program. It's a very tricky situation.
Is that the one you have to stay out of for so many years before you get back in it?
This is so they're
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Yes, there's talk of allowing 3 years, which I believe
That's what I thought they were going to change it
I
to.
think they're at 3 if you kind of beg them to get back in. There are ways to have a better employee benefit program. There are. It's just getting in and out of this program is the difficult part. Kevin, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What's
Mr. Telchin, I apologize.
what's the for the employees? What's the latest you've heard on Blue Cross Blue Shield as far as this meeting this contract date with Covenant?
With Covenant,
Have you heard any more on that?
they will. I've never seen them with a large system like that not.
I don't see how they could do it. I mean, you look at the school districts out here, and everybody using medical services in Lubbock. Where are they going to go?
No, you're 100% correct. This happens all the time in Waco, Baylor Scott and White. It happens a lot in Dallas with the Baptist system up there. They're renegotiating a contract. And so what Blue Cross Blue Shield does is it sends out this email and says, oh, we may not make it. We not make it back in their system. We may not can get this renegotiated. And so just people start calling, and they call their school districts, and they call their legislators, and eventually they come to a contract negotiation. I've seen it.
They just push it right up to the end.
Yep, I've seen it a dozen times over the last 5 years. And honestly, Blue Cross Blue Shield's got the big sword. That's just they have the most commercial lives in Texas from an employee benefit standpoint.
Going back to the link in the gym,
Yes, sir.
are we still dealing with that same, I don't know, if he's an engineer or architect?
Yes.
That
For
told me
one more week.
He didn't have leaks in the new building?
He's not exactly sure where it is. He has helped us fix what we have, but we've had to put him on his schedule. His deadline is this Friday. Had a conversation with him Friday, had a conversation with him Monday. If not, I'm going to a different engineering firm that will come up and do the water test and do the thermo. He has helped us to this point, I will say that. And we have got, the district has a good, long relationship, like 25, 30-year relationship. And he's a good guy. But he's also working on friendship right now, and he has put us aside for too long. So it'll be Friday. Or we move on.
So that's, who's flipping that bill if you go to another architect and they find the problem?
So I have relationships that they won't charge us anything to find it. Okay. And Lee Lewis is still on the line to fix it properly.
We're talking 20 meetings. I mean, so we've been very transparent. We've had a lot of meetings with these people to make sure they understand this has been there since birth. It is nothing new. And so I do not anticipate us ever paying for this until it's
No.
5, 6, 10 years down the road and we're actually responsible for something.
Going back to the TRS too, I mean, just from things I've seen at another district this year, I'd be very, very wary to jump out of TRS
Yeah,
without 5 or 6 parachutes, because you got to think about your employee trying to get approved by a doctor, in with the doctor, approved by a specialist, in with the, I mean, that district I'm talking about, they went on their, it's called, I don't even know what it is, but basically
called
the
Texacare.
school is paying for everybody's medical, but like, you're healed by the time
Well,
you need to go to the doctor, or it's worse, or you're getting surgery like my wife was.
You take Covenant and Grace and those places out of the picture. Here
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
Yeah. And there are plenty of other networks out there that are good networks. And there are models out there that you can look at. Particularly would be called a captive model, where you're in a pool, you're just not in the TRS Active Care pool. You'd be in another pool. And it would be self-funding. Y'all were self-funded for 20 years. And it was a highly successful for you, quite frankly. And you built a large fund balance because of it in your risk management fund. But yeah, so transparency, TASB was pushing a product called Texacare. Texacare is a new program actually by Texas Mutual, the workers' comp carrier. But when they went to get it administered, it's administered by TML, Texas Municipal League. TML, as itself as an organization, is great. Their administration of health plans is not great. That's the best way I can put it. And again, by the way, I'm not saying that we're going to look at it. It will be a long discussion if we decide to do something different. So, okay. Any other questions? As always, thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Well, we got a remake this year. We better go up.
Yes. I think we can wait till we're done with the purchase and approve it all together. That's,
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
the other part of the financial report, and Scott, you may tag in, Gensler may tag in, Albert may tag in, but I approached it in y'all's update about our situation with the air and heating HVAC unit in the high school office. And it's on your board book, but I pulled it up here so you can see. We got 2 quotes. Thank you for getting the 2 quotes. This is a big cost item. And that's what I kind of said in that update over the weekend. We just got to ask ourselves, and I'm good either way, do we keep Band-Aiding it, or do we bite the bullet and fix it? And you're the one that works, I mean, you actually work in this office, but you work with the ladies. I'm not worried about you as much as I am all those ladies that work in that office. And I will say, that thing got built in 2015, and we have not got a good year out of it since I've been back, but I've been told it's never made it a full year without some sort of Band-Aid having to be put on it. When those new units were put in, that the board approved over COVID, it was all over the district except on that office, because that office, it works off different units. And you might be able to explain that more than me. They're all what I call mini cassettes almost. They're all smaller units. Albert has spoke to the people that gave the quotes. I'm going to pull the 2 quotes up here. And I'm just going to be honest. I think after visiting with Albert, I feel like Albert our people are a little more comfortable going with this. I'll call this quote number 1. I think they're a little more comfortable going with quote number 2. Would you like to talk about that, Albert?
Sure. The difference in it, they are more expensive. But what changes, and it's a ballpark difference, is the fact that the one that's a little more expensive has a computer, and that's the easiest way to describe it, basically like the newer vehicles. It'll tell us when there's a problem that's about to happen. It'll keep us on top of it. And the individual that's going to set it up for us is willing to train our people for 2 years solid. They can go with him, they'll show everything, top to bottom. He'll train them. So when he's done and we're not covered through him, our people are ready. And he'll provide us with supplies to keep them running that we can keep in-house that he will not charge us. That's the big difference, the training and having supplies here in-house, training all our people to be able to work on the units.
The warranty, how much warranty does it have for?
20, I believe.
Yeah, the
Mr.
carrier is a
Gonzalez.
10-year warranty on parts and 2-year on labor. The other is actually, it's a Mitsubishi. It's the same brand, just the newer model of what we already have in there. It is a 5-year warranty and a 1-year.
So which one are we talking about first?
Carrier.
Well,
The
the one that
carrier.
Albert's speaking on is the one that's, I believe it's Sinclair.
Yes, the carrier.
That will be the one that has the 10-year warranty.
They're out of Lubbock, right?
Two
Are they
years.
Lubbock?
Yes, sir.
The other one's out of Amarillo, it looks like?
Yes, sir. They're out of the Lubbock area. They're the ones that have a contract with carriers. So
And it's not a carrier. The one out of Amarillo is not a carrier, it's an off Mitsubishi.
Which that's, as he stated, that's what's in there right now. And
The one that Sinclair is offering is the one.
And I think you've had issues with the other HVAC deal, correct? Haven't you? I think you had mentioned that.
Which one?
the first, the other quotes
The cheap one, I think you had issues with them before.
with them just getting out here and helping. They were hard to get out here to get a quote.
They're obsolete. They don't make them anymore.
Gotcha.
Half the
It was a
warranty,
chore. Up
half
until
the-
about a week ago, we only had one quote, and I kept telling Alvin, we got to get a second one. So finally, I mean, pulled teeth to even get them out here to get a quote.
Well, that's what.
Which worries me.
Yeah,
Well, a lot
why
to
would
me.
you want to go with a company you've had trouble with?
I just wanted to be able to present y'all with 2 quotes, you
Yeah.
know, and it was.
And then
There's
why do
not
you want to
even-
keep band-aiding things? Because it's costing us
Absolutely.
probably an arm and a leg every time we put that band-aid on.
I think we've probably spent what it's going to cost to fix it.
Exactly.
in
That's
the-
what
in
I'm
the
Not only
10
that,
years.
if our guys could go and get trained,
Yeah.
so if something goes on with the computer, it's gonna kind of give us a little warning that something's coming up, something's not right. If they can fix it, we're gonna end up saving so much
Oh,
more.
absolutely.
Costing more a little bit, you know,
And with
we're
that
gonna
10-year
end up
warranty.
saving money.
And there's not any issues with the ductwork, is it?
They and Albert, you can kind of expand on this.
Yes,
They
sir.
talk like it was never done right the
It was,
first time.
it was the way it's set up is when, like, let's say Mr. Ginsler has something in there and he's cool. One of the ladies on the other end is freezing. They turn on the heater. When you set up both of them, when one's running cool, one's running hot, shuts it down. It overheats it. That's what the problem is. So it would overheat. The compressor would go out. $40,000 fix. Do it again, and it'd run for a little bit. And it's the same thing when one temperature is here, one temperature is there, and basically they're trying to cool a whole section. This way, it'll be set up in sections where it'll be able to cool one section, heat one section, and it's going to be more efficient. So they're trying to cool
So I
a
guess if we
huge
wouldn't have
section
that
with one
problem
unit.
then.
Right, and April got to experience it the other day because we met over there. Once it breaks, which it breaks every year, at that point, the temperature inside is pretty much whatever it is outside. So when it was cold during that week, we got them space heaters, and they handled the cold better. I mean, if it's 100 degrees outside, it's 100
It was
degrees
so
inside.
hot, I don't know why we haven't talked about this sooner. It was hot, it was uncomfortable, I feel bad for those ladies, like, we need to do something like tomorrow.
I think we had.
You gotta think the 5-year,
It's
you know, is the cheaper one, but it's when we have problems. So if you have 5 more years of warranty and a full more year of labor, and he's gonna hold his word and train our guys and provide, you know, parts we need, like some of the parts. There's probably stock parts like, which I'll keep. I mean, say you figure warranty at $7,500 a year, you're still coming out ahead with the 5 more years and a year of labor. I mean, so it's a carrier.
How long would you say it's been in the shape it's in? 10 years?
I don't think it's ever not been.
Yeah, since it was the
10 years,
two.
You think we
2015,
spend $30,000 a year repairs on it?
probably on averages.
For 5 years, that's
I think we need to get out of that
$150,000.
mentality and just
100%,
fix
we
some
need to
stuff,
quit
patch
band,
some stuff up.
slap
Well, and
band-aid
I already
on
feel
it.
I did when Albert came to me and told me they were going to train our people. He told me right then and there because
We probably spent more in the last 10 years.
For 2 of these units.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'd just say, do
I
it.
just don't see
Fix
why
it.
when we
I
got
agree
the
with
new
that.
sys- the new
Whatever it
HVACs
takes.
on the other
Yep.
one, we didn't get that one.
We got the money, let's do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so Scott, if you want to wrap up the financial report, we'll need to approve the financial report, and then you have those two purchases to talk about. PCAT purchase and the HVAC purchase. Scott, did you have anything else you wanted to add to all that?
No, sorry, all. Let me see where this is. I don't see it on there.
Cool.
So, just on the agenda, it's above the HVAC system and the purchase of 50,000. Right above it is the document for the budget amendment. I know we've already talked about it, so I'm not going to go into a lot of depth here, other than just show you on paper what we're talking about. So, the 931,998.63 is the expenditure that's being budgeted in the budget. 581,336 for the extracurricular buses, activity buses. 350,662 for the SRO vehicles. Now, that's the budget amendment. It's in front of you all to approve. We're budgeting for the expenditure, but the second bus is not going to be ready in this fiscal year. So we will have that unused funds will go into fund balance, and we'll need to re-budget that in the next fiscal year for the second bus when it's completed. And as I spoke earlier today, on the SRO vehicles, if they can be,
Which we think they will be.
you know,
Now that the funds have been transferred, everything's been sped up, and our goal is to have them. I would love to have them by the start of school, at least by the end of August. That's the goal. And we sent 2 people to go pick up the bus today. They left today, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And how much longer for the second bus?
Once we put the deposit in, at that point, 8 to 10 months. Yes, sir. But they usually overshoot, so I think we'll get it a little earlier. Yes, sir.
Do we know where we're at on SROs? Because we did this.
We didn't
We
get
did
the
it
funds,
in
though. They
May.
can't do anything without the money.
Right.
And we didn't get the money till last week.
Right.
So now that they have the money, everything's like they already had them pretty much done, but they were waiting on us to give them some sort of deposit before they started putting all the gear.
Okay, so the cars are somewhere.
Oh yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
what I-
Yes, sir.
yeah, we just couldn't place the order until we received the
No, that's fine.
funds.
Yeah. So they're somewhere.
Yeah, those are pretty far along.
Okay.
Yes.
What Chief told me, sir, is that the vehicles, he has the 5 vehicles there.
Okay.
So once we gave him the okay, he called the company for them to start putting in, like, all the equipment that's going to be going into it and lining them up and getting them ready with whatever it's going to go into those vehicles.
Okay.
So once that's done, they'll be ready. And then they'll ship them from Dallas to Lubbock, and then Lubbock will deliver them to.
So is that where we're getting our cars and where they're putting everything in? Is that the only stop that they're making, or are we still pinstriping them somewhere? Or
We're gonna put a decal.
a decal,
on,
but same
yes.
company or somebody else?
No, somebody else. We've got the signs and go out of Lubbock that does our decaling.
Okay.
So once we get them detailed.
And it won't say police, right?
No, ma'am.
No.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So that's the only thing I had, is just to show you what you're approving.
So there's 3 or 4 approvals coming here, April. Financial report, budget amendment, PCAT, HVAC.
Right now, or just
Yes, ma'am.
when I get to
Yes,
it?
ma'am.
Okay.
We can go ahead and knock all these out right now.
Oh, okay, so I'll just go into the action
And
items.
the workers' comp is a,
Part of PCAT.
Okay, so which one am
What you do, want to start
I?
off with?
So the 50, and then the budget amendment,
And then the financial report.
and
Yes,
then the
ma'am.
financial report, and that's the only ones we're doing right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I have someone please make a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make a motion, we approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to approve the July budget amendment general fund. Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to approve purchases over $50,000, replace HVAC AC system for the high school office.
I'll make a motion that we go with Sinclair Heating.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Sorry. Go do, which other one? Okay. Which one is it?
Yes.
Decaf.
Which number is it?
The back.
It's on the next page.
Oh, you made your.
First one.
Oh, sorry, okay. Sorry. Which number? Which one am I doing?
The PCAT
The
school
PCAT.
choice. I make a motion, we
Yeah.
approve PCAT
Yeah,
school
oh, okay,
choice
okay. Make a, oh, sorry, go ahead.
as presented.
Second.
Second. All opposed, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That was a lot. We appreciate it. Thank you. Good job.
Will you hand me the one you used for the first year?
Yeah.
You need to print out the one that,
But look,
the most recent one, because it's usually updates.
let's see.
I gave you one that's got
Should be there
red.
at the top.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yes.
First off, thank you for coming and pointing that out. It's funny, everything happens for a reason. We literally had a meeting today about this, about the stuff you talked about, and making sure that we're enforcing the right stuff. So I appreciate you being here very much. Thank you. We go way back to South Elementary. You were my second parent phone call, not my first. Legislative report, which I think parents will find really interesting, and I'm only going to hit these 4 things. They started this special session today, and they argued all day about, they didn't even get to the star score stuff, the star stuff. What they talked about was redistricting, and a lot of people got mad because they wanted to talk about the floods. So that when I came in here, they were still arguing about why are we not talking about what just happened, and we're talking about this unimportant stuff. But that's what they do. They find ways to work around stuff. So I don't know when they will get to the accountability part, but I will watch it and keep you guys updated. But these have passed. And the first one's the biggest one. And I put a video out to the community today, Monday, yesterday at 6 o'clock. I wanted to do a video versus just the press release. We've read all the press releases from every other district. And while we is exactly what it said, going to do exactly what we have to do, I do want parents to understand. I understand as a dad the human side of it too. And so we're going to continue to talk. And, Jasper's had some good ideas about ways she can make sure her parents know, man, if you've got to get a hold of your kid, here's the avenues you have to take to do it. But at the end of the day, a law is a law. And, we're going to make sure that we do it the right way. It prohibits personal cell phone use. It actually says communication devices, because they're actually talking about watches too, from students during school hours anywhere on school grounds. And it's going to come down to a lot of teachers. And I will tell you, is what I told them, it's different when it was just a school policy. When you have 8 teachers doing it right and that 9th one doesn't. That 9th one caused a lot of problems for those 8 ones, but it's still, slap on the wrist. Now they're going to break a law. And so what I've told them is if they walk in and the teacher's allowing it, we're writing that teacher up right then and there. We're going to take it very seriously and do it the right way. It doesn't really matter if I agree with it or not, because it is what it is, and that's the law. We're going to make it happen, but we're also going to bend over backwards to give our parents avenues when they need to get all the kids that they can do so. Don't know what that will look like on every campus, but we will meet and make sure we do the best we can on that. The second one, Senate Bill 10, 10 Commandments and Prayer. This is what ours are going to look like. Thank you, Frankie. I thought you did a really good job. I think that looks really good. They have to be 16 by 20. Where did you say? You recommended that we get them from where? Okay. We were going to do them ourselves, but the amount of laminating and cutting and all that, we're going to get them. Every classroom will look exactly the same. And that's, again, what we wanted to do. I've seen a lot of districts just tell their teachers, hey, you've got to go find the 16 by 20 10 Commandments. I didn't want to do that. So every one of them will look just like this. As far as the voluntary daily prayer. Sir?
Have we decided where we're going to place them? Is they in the room or
My thought,
uniform?
Mr. Mayor, because I've thought about that, my thought is by our light switches is where we have like our emergency evacuation maps and everything. And we're either going to have to do that or allow teachers to put them where they want. I would like them all in the exact same place, if that makes sense. And that just tends to be a place that every kid, looks, because they walk out every day and see them by that light switch every day. The voluntary daily prayer scripture reading periods are a little bit trickier. As a board, and I'll bring it to you next time, you have to decide as a board if that is something that you are going to allow within your schools or not. My recommendation is that you do, because in a sense you already do it with the moment of silence. The wording has just changed. A moment of silence is a moment of silence. The wording would be moment of silence or daily prayer. Like you can now basically say the word prayer. I would not recommend that you allot 3 to 5 minutes for it, because you're asking a lot of those teachers to corral 20 kids for 3 to 5 minutes. But I do think we already do a moment of silence. To me, you can just tie the two together. But that's exactly what it says. It permits voluntary daily prayer or scripture reading periods, but you do have to have parental consent. So if we decide to do it, we've got to come up with the form to get parental consent. But it's still voluntary. A teacher cannot lead it. A teacher cannot facilitate it. We can just give them the time and the opportunity. So that's what that one looks like. House Bill 6 is much more, we use the term in the weeds a lot. That's much more for us, but I thought y'all need to know about it because it did change a lot of the discipline in schools. It has become, and y'all heard us talk about some stuff, almost impossible to discipline kids without breaking laws. And they heard enough from the state that they've come back and tried to help teachers a little bit. They've removed some limitations on ISS. They've given us a little bit more freedom for the younger kids to do things because, unfortunately, our behaviors are starting at a much younger age. And it was almost, and I always reference you because Shelley was at South forever, it was almost impossible to do anything to those kids. And we don't want to do anything to them. We need them to learn at a younger age what the right behavior is versus the wrong behavior is, because if they don't learn, then it just spreads throughout the rest of their educational career. But it did clarify some out-of-school suspensions, some significant or repeated disruptions, and it gave teachers a bit more teeth to handling situations in their classroom. And it's about 130 pages long. So I'm still going through it, but I do think it's important that you know they did, at least now, always understand federal law will always trump state law. And I tell y'all this all the time, special education, they're governed by a completely different set of laws. And that's hard for us sometimes when we're talking to parents, because if you have two kids in the room and one is a gen ed kid and one is a special education kid, well, we can't disclose that, but one of them going to be treated with these laws, one of them is going to be treated with these laws. And that's a hard conversation that every assistant principal has to have at some point in time. But you've got to follow the law, period. And you've got to do the best you can by the laws you have for the kids in front of you. And so that's what we will continue to do. The last one I added because of the way TEA, how serious they are taking it. They sent every superintendent in the state of Texas about an 8-page document over the timelines for reporting reported suspected child abuse. It used to be 48 hours, now it's 24 hours. But the biggest thing is the non-reporting, and we've heard the horror stories. You read about it in the paper all of the time. And non-reporting is now a state jail felony that falls on the superintendent and the board of trustees. And so they have done that to make sure superintendents know how important it is to make sure that our administrators know all of those complaints matter and they have to be reported to the right people in the right amount of time. That was one of the biggest things that they kept hitting. And the other thing did Chris Lee, because on the insurance, and I mentioned this in your update too, they have removed immunity of a school district under the non-reporting and under than not reporting suspected child abuse. There is no more immunity because you are a school employee. So that is something that all of the insurance people are looking at, is they're going to have to add something in to provide the funds, because it's going to happen. I would love to say, and I'm not talking about MESA, that's statewide. Better not happen here, but it's going to happen somewhere in the state sometime over this next calendar year. So I can send you, and y'all can read through all of this stuff, but it is, they're trying to put a hammer down on school districts not reporting things. And I'm glad they are, because let's do it the right way, and let's get it done in the right amount of time. So do y'all have any questions over that? And again, I started with the special session, but it started today. The only education, property taxes is going to be talked about. That indirectly affects us funding-wise. But accountability. And it's the exact same thing I told you. They're looking at replacing the STAR test once a year with 3 tests throughout the year that monitor growth from beginning to end instead of just waiting until the end. I'm surprised it got on the agenda. I did not think it would. And I would think if it got on the agenda, there's a chance that, and if it happens now. Like, we will already be in school and it will take place if it happens. So I'll keep y'all in the loop. I watch that really closely and be able to tell you how it's going. Next thing is a yearly thing, and Ms. Bauman can speak on it a little. It's in your board book, but I printed one out for you guys. That every year you have to approve 2 things. You have to approve a T-test calendar. You can take one, pass it around. There. And then you have to approve alternate appraisals. This is pretty much done for us. This is pretty much a statewide thing. Every district has to do it. But this kind of talks you through when all of the stuff that we are asked to do happens. On the appraisal side, and Bauman can disagree with me if she wants, but I think having the alternate appraisers has become way more important now that TIA is here. Because now, and we had one this year, now if a teacher disagrees, we have our principals and assistant principals do all of the evaluations on, I mean, it's how it's been since the beginning of time. But let's say Mr. Gensler evaluated me, and I think he scored me too low. And I think that's going to cost me money now with TIA, because I think I'm doing a better job than what he thinks I'm doing, and I think my student growth is going to show that. I can appeal that, and then what we need is someone else to come do that appraisal. Well, it doesn't need to be his AP, because he's going to have pressure over his AP, and his AP is going to do what he wants to do. So it needs to be someone from this building. So that's what the alternate appraisers are. Would you like to speak on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, we've always had them, very rarely used them, but with TIA it does change things.
You have to have them. It's just more important now. So we all stay T-test trained. We all keep our certificates valid. That way, if we're called to do it, we'll go do it.
So we had one this year? Had to use alternate?
Didn't we just have?
I mean, I applaud him for
High school? Did we end up not having to do it? He was going, so he never went all the way through.
As far, it didn't come to me, so I wasn't the one that was picked. And probably
So we had one that inquired.
Well, I mean, I'd applaud the teacher for, using the process we're trying to, because probably are like, I don't want to stick my neck out there, but it's there
I
for
hope
it's
they
there
don't
for 'em.
feel that. I agree.
It's there for 'em.
Because that's your principle,
Right.
and you don't want. Yeah, I agree. But if you feel strongly enough about it, I'm glad. I hope they do. For sure. And that TIA is a lot of money, and we're continuing to open that up to more and more people. T-test questions. Moving on to board meetings, we had originally proposed to have our August one on August 21st, but that one is not going to work, which kind of worked out because there is a board training August 14th. And the proposal, and again, I mentioned this in the update, my proposal is that we Zoom into the board training. It's mandatory for all board members at 6 o'clock. And then we either have our board meeting after or before it on the same day and just knock it all out in one day. It's not something you have to vote on, but that's just my proposal, and y'all can visit with April and kind of just direct me. We do need to do the training at the very least at 6 o'clock.
You said August 14th.
August 14th, where we have the board meeting can be discussed.
Training? We do the training first and then the board meeting?
Either way, we can go either way. Yes, ma'am.
Everybody free?
How long is the training?
No clue. That's my fear. I would say, yeah.
Yes, they usually say 3 and we're done like in an hour and a half.
So.
But then having to meet again and then come
No,
back.
that's what I that's what I said.
Just
You
get it
just
done all
we're just
at
gonna have to
once.
commit to a long night. It's
Yeah.
just you want to. Does that night want to start early, or do you want to end late, or start early and end late? It's probably what we
What
do
does the
that.
14th look like to y'all real quick? So
I'm good.
I'd rather start early.
I'd rather start early too. Is everybody okay with just getting it all on one?
I'll do it.
What day of the week is it?
Thursday.
Thursday. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, it's
Quite hard to me asking questions.
No, sir. No.
Will we, by that 14th, will we have a pretty
There you go. I was about to say. Better redirect that right over there.
by the 14th board meeting, will we kind of have a final budget that we'll be able to look at?
Come on, Scott. Let's say in the future years, you definitely will.
Yes. He's gonna have something for you to look at there.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
you will
he
have
will.
something. I will not be on the 14th to show you.
What kind of
If we
feedback
can,
are
that
you-
would be nice.
Yeah, so that.
What kind of feedback are you getting back from the parents on this cell phone deal?
I can't blame them. They don't like it, Ernest. I will tell you, I've had a couple, surprisingly, I've had a couple parents tell me they think it's the best thing
I think it's
that's ever happened.
I like the news where they blamed it on friendship. Friendship is not allowed. I mean, that was their headline. Friendship is allowed, not allowed cell phone.
Just friendship?
We'll have more on the story later.
Oh, nice.
It's the headline.
You know, I will tell you, because you asked, I think that the reason they did it is because it is a massive interference with classroom instruction, okay? But I will tell you why I think it's a great thing. It's because of the amount of cyberbullying that happens on social media, and when you remove cell phones from the school day, I think it is going to take a huge bite out of that pie, and it's going to help our kids be healthier. That's why I like it. Like I literally told my sons, y'all are going to have to talk now. I mean, I think we'll see cafeterias back when we went where people are actually having to talk to each other. So I think it could be a really good thing. I think it's just going to be hard on parents at the beginning to get used to it.
I'm glad I've got to that for
Because they're not
years.
going to know who to text. 'Cause they'll just
Yeah.
text the children.
But Gensler and I were talking about some things that happened over the last year that I don't believe happened if there were no cell phones in the room. Because they happen because they know somebody's videoing you, and you got to show out for that camera. When you remove that camera, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know. So I think we'll look up in a year and be glad it happened.
Hope so.
Really
So
quick,
what's
we're
the
good.
wording on it again? Communicate the device?
Communication device,
So
personal communication device. So a
what if it
pager.
don't communicate? It's like a little body camera. I mean,
I thought I was
I haven't had. I mean,
It
you
also
can't
does
have.
state on there alternative Bluetooth devices.
well, no, but like a little clip-on body camera.
Wait, what?
How are you going to police those? Because they're not going to communicate till you take them
Well,
down.
we haven't. I mean, I
They're
can't
going to find a
answer
way.
that. Yeah.
to do-
Oh, kids are going to have phones. I mean, they're going to have phones,
So
but
what do we do with a 12-year-old or a 9-year-old that has a phone?
okay. So
Tell me kind of process.
first off, and I should have mentioned this earlier, there are some people that will be, if you are a diabetic, because diabetics have their thing on their phone. But that is through the 504 committee. A 504 committee can approve a phone. Okay, so that's different. But it's like I told Gensler and them, I don't think we're going to, like if every one of y'all told me y'all didn't have a phone, I'm going to have to take your word for it, but I better not see that phone. And where I told them as principals, you're going to have to sit down and really talk about bathrooms. You know, because if I'm a kid, I always try to think about it. If I'm a kid, you tell me no phone, and I have my phone in my pocket, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom a lot, and I'm going to be there for a while so I can text all my friends. So it's going to take a while to figure it out, but we've got to do the best we can do and be consistent and make sure we do it the right way. And I think we'll win. I just think it's going to take some time. And we've got 90 days to make it right. That's the other thing they said, which basically puts you by Christmas, we got to have this thing figured out.
Because, I mean, it is a law.
It is.
That's what I
It
mean,
is
no,
not a
just
choice.
say
Yes,
it.
sir.
So, what about that employee that does their best to try to make sure that classroom is phone-free, and yet kids they're gonna do what they gotta do to get that phone,
I hope-
keep that phone with them.
I hope not,
How
Mr. Telchik.
responsible are we gonna hold that?
You got to understand, as I go through our faculty list, I already know which teachers have been loose with the phones. Does that make sense? And so those are the ones I'm worrying about. If you're Dora, and you know we walk in and see somebody, one person, I mean we're obviously not going to. I mean when I say hold them responsible, if I walk in and every single one of y'all has a phone out, to me that's the teacher's fault.
Yeah.
If I walk in and Melissa has her phone out and y'all all don't, and y'all know she's wrong, that's Melissa's fault. Does that make sense? And so I feel like we'll do that fairly
Could a teacher
in the
lose
right
their
way.
license?
What's that?
Since they're allowing the law to be broken in their class, could they eventually lose their certificate or license?
Oh, I can see that.
I mean,
Yes.
that's what I was thinking while we were talking.
It'll be interesting. I mean, with this,
Because it's a law.
with
I think
this
if it's
being
showing
brand
no
new,
difference.
I mean, and that's the thing. For me, if your first period, second period, third period, fourth period, do it the right way, well, then your fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, they ain't gonna have to worry about it because everybody before you did it the right way. When you have to worry about it is when there's someone in your school
Yep.
not doing it the right way, and that's our job is to make sure that everybody's doing it the right way. But like the little thing, I mean, I do things like you say, body cam. I mean, if there's kids sitting at home thinking of that kind of stuff, we're just going case by case basis, do the best we can to stop it. Budget and tax rate adoption, guys. I set that date a long time ago because we've always done it that last Thursday in August. It can be moved. It does need to be before the end of August, and it does need to be fairly late. But if that specific day does not work for the board, Ms. Martinez, you can put them whenever.
I think
whenever you
it's-
need. Okay.
That's the
The
Thursday of
14th
Labor Day
was-
weekend, isn't it?
The 14th was good with everybody, right?
14th for the board meeting, but I'm talking about the budget and tax rate
Okay.
adoption, which is a much shorter meeting. But you need to have it as late as possible. That way,
Is
Scott
it not the
can do it.
Thursday before Labor Day?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And we're off.
So we need to bump it to Tuesday. That's what I'm saying. I can put it whenever.
I hate always waiting to the last because if you
What if
So you wanna
something
put it
comes up
Monday?
that we can't make it?
but
So the
I can make
26th.
And that's why I was asking
26.
if
So
we
the
could have something by the 14th.
that's what I say. That's my biggest pet peeve is being we push it. If something comes up,
Well, that's why I've had these dates on the calendar for so
Yeah.
long
I
to
know.
make sure,
You mean for the
So
next
Monday is
one,
what?
or the
April?
board meeting?
20 what?
The 25th
To do
is
it
the
both
Monday.
on that
Tuesday
day?
is the 26th.
Would y'all rather do it Monday the 25th or Tuesday the
Would you want to do
26th?
this on the 14th?
Not you, no. I don't have the calendar here. Oh, no, never mind, that's fine.
So will we be
Because
able
our
to
regular-
at least
regular
look at
meeting's
the?
on the 14th.
How about Monday?
Yes.
It will not be ready to approve the 14th.
No,
No,
just
but
to
we
look
do
at
hope
it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't
far
asking
along.
for that.
Yeah.
I was just asking for something.
We'll
that
be
we
able to
could
look at it on the
look at.
14th.
That's the plan, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so y'all wanted to do Monday the 25th?
That way, worst case scenario,
have one on
Okay.
Thursday.
come back
Let's
Thursday
do
if you
the
have to.
25th.
Yes.
Let's do,
Renette, did you write that down?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Monday the 25th, is that what you
So
have?
we're gonna do
25th,
both
uh-huh.
budget and we're gonna do regular board meeting? Are we doing both on that day
I
or
don't
not?
think we'll have to because really what that is just a big budget workshop. I think we can just budget work and it can just last as long as it needs to last.
Oh, okay.
It's a special meeting.
Okay, so then we're still doing the 14th, okay.
yeah, 14th is the, yeah.
Questions on that? Are we good to move on? So every year we have to, and I just printed them for you this year. If you'll take one and pass it around. We have, every district has service center contracts. I just ran a list of them for you so you could see what all we have to use the service center for. The only one that would jump out to me if I was y'all is on the one with the least amount, and it's LASSO, Learning Acceleration Support Opportunities. And it's $100,000, but that's a grant we were just awarded, so that is free. Okay? Do you want to talk about the grant? When did we get it? 2 weeks ago?
Maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they did 3 different cycles of awards, and so we found out pretty late that we got it. But it's a total of $200,000, but 100 of it goes straight to the service center because they're our approved provider. And then the rest is used to kind of help support the things that they're asking for and helping us put in. It's for the Bluebonnet Math. When we did that transition plan a couple of months ago, that was in hoping that we would get a later award. And so we found out about 10 days ago that we did.
which was really exciting
Huh.
because 200,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Most of the other ones on there, like I try to look every year, and if we don't use it, I take it off. Like you'll see the migrants at 0. That's because we don't have any migrant students right now, but we still have to sign that contract. That way, if one enrolls, we're already contracted, and then they'll charge us. Counselor Solutions, they have things for almost every position, and our counselors use that all the time, and it helps them out a lot. So it's just services that we use throughout the district.
So how does that get charged? Is that charged
Y'all,
per head or?
which
like
one?
on the
Counselor?
The migrant one and the ones
Yes, sir. But like if you look at the counselor one, I think it says like 3,000. I don't know for sure.
Uh-huh.
That's every person already.
Okay.
Like that's 3,000 divided by however many counselors we got. That's what it was. Yes, sir. We do have to sign our SRO interlocal with the police department tonight. It did not change. I think there's a chance in the future the city looks at raising our fee, but they did not do it this year, which I appreciate. And what I asked them, if you're going to do it, just do it incrementally instead of one big jump. And I appreciate them waiting a year. So this year it's the same. Roach, you want to talk about that at all? I mean, I feel like we're in a good spot.
Yes, sir, so far we're in a very good spot. Everything is running smoothly. Now that we're meeting and everything is running good this year.
Agreed. Adopt policy opting out of homeschool and UIL events. So I talked about this at the last board meeting, and I talked about it on the update. I have yet to talk to a district that is not opting out. I don't think we should be the only one that does, because homeschool kids are not held to any of the same requirements that an in-school kid is. And that's great. I have nothing against homeschool, but I don't think you should be able to play UIL without the exact same requirements of everybody else. And so that is my recommendation. And I have Burnett has a resolution or opt-out for you to sign in April. If y'all have any questions over that. We're Xing cafeteria prices because they did not get with Gary. It's like I told y'all in the update. Gary has to do with people above him. They have not got to him yet, so we will talk about that at the next one. Tacit TASB tomorrow, I believe, Burnett.
Yes.
July 22nd is registration and when it starts. I was going to put this up there, and I don't think it's something we need to decide tonight, but I've been asked to price what it would cost to fly, what it would cost to drive. As of the day I did this, which I don't remember when it was sometime in the last 4 days. It wouldn't be both, it would be one or the other. But that's what it would cost to fly. And then I based it on $3.20 a gallon. That's about what it would cost to drive.
Check Midland.
Sorry.
Check Midland.
I checked both, yes, sir. And I don't think I think it's something you kind of figure out. We don't need to know that yet. We need to know who's going.
Yes.
We don't need to know how we're getting there yet. But I do think that it changes a little. You know, if we end up going this route, if you say you're going to go, you need to go. If we say we're going this route and you say you want to go and then last minute something happens, I think you're all good. Obviously, if it's an emergency, you're all good anyway. But, you know, just kind of think about, I don't know, it's 950 miles there and back, not one way. There and back. And, you know, what I would say is if we drive, we just try to leave at 8 going and at least 8 coming. I say that to people that get up at like 5 in the morning. It's never, y'all are one group that's never a problem getting back early. Y'all get up early.
One's going early, the other's going late.
Yeah.
No, because then the one that was going late or late before the early even.
But just, you know, and I'll put this in the update and y'all can kind of talk amongst yourself and then just tell me what you want to do. But do tell Burnett tonight if you're
Ron
planning
and Cindy
on
are going.
Okay.
Ron and Cindy aren't.
Are going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm going, yes.
So everybody?
My last 2 things, convocation is August 11th at 9 o'clock. Okay, so April, I was going to ask you to speak at that, but also on July 30th, we are introducing our brand new teachers. If anyone would like to come, I think we start introductions at 8:30. And that is in the high school loft, but that's also a place I'd like you to say something
Yes.
to the new hires.
Ms.
But y'all are all welcome.
Ms.
to be
Ballman
there.
reached out to me.
Perfect. Perfect. But I'd love to introduce y'all. So if you're there July 30th, you can. I'm staying with them and working with them for a while. Y'all can just introduce yourself and get on. All right. Last thing, the dress code discussion, and I feel like this is something that kind of comes up every year. I feel like our dress code, and I already complimented Ms. Scott for being here. It's no different than anything. Nothing. It's only as good as what you can enforce, right? And that's as a principal, and I told him that earlier. To me, as a principal, I want a dress code that my APs can enforce, so I can be in classrooms working on instruction. I mean, that's the gist of it. So looking at what you've approved the last few years, and I'm just going to pass this out, and I'm going to let Gensler and Jasper. I do have one more thing after this, so don't let this take too
Before
long.
you pass those out, I got a question.
Yes.
So does dress code, I know we talked about this, and then it gets on the sideburn. Does dress code include
Banquets?
the banquets and graduation?
Yes, sir, and I do hope you saw that there was a better dress this year than there was last year. Because last year we had some kids that were way out of dress code, but I felt like we took care of that.
But I think if you let a little out,
Yeah.
there's still some this year, crop tops and cut jeans and things like that at the banquets, and I was like, end of year, but,
I heard prom was pretty bad.
how do you do prom then?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
prom dresses,
You're up,
I
Gensler.
mean, that's my only deal there.
That's what I heard.
Everything with the school should follow school dress code. There's
But
nothing that
is
should not
prom
follow
a
dress code.
school event, or is it the
It's
junior
held at
parents?
school.
If the school, the
It's
way
held
we've
at
done
school.
it in
If
the past,
it's
the
held at
school, if the
school,
junior
then-
class was raising funds for it, it was a school sanctioned event. And so it was my job as the principal to stress that whenever they were buying prom dresses, that they had to fit dress code.
Yeah.
And if they did not fit dress code, they would not be allowed to.
You get your phone.
That's good. I mean,
If they know that, but that's never been enforced. But if we want to do it, we're going to have to get it out there and say,
Well,
your girl may
you
get
know,
it,
and
boy,
again,
may
as
get
I
it back.
stated, I was gonna let the principals talk, but everything's gone so long. I'm not. Dr. Starr, you're not getting out of here without being introduced. So I'm trying to get out of the back door. But that's what we talked about today. Whatever we do, we, and I think we've got a good team this year that will enforce it. But we've got to make sure it's enforced. Do you guys want to speak on it at all? Or let's just have a conversation.
What are we trying to change? Like, why are we?
Do you see those stars?
Yes.
That's the only things that they have looked at changing. Start from the bottom up, April. Clothing should not have any excessively large rips. I was in this room sitting at the back when it was decided that you really can't buy jeans anymore without holes, right? And that's fine. But there have been some that are gigantic that we would like to be able to
It's the
not
ones that were
allow
even
those.
wearing pants, you know?
It's the
Those
one,
kind
how
of
far
pants.
up they go, that's,
But,
Right.
but really,
Well, and that's why it says above, I think,
Well,
above the knee.
I think you just say no tears or rips. They
Well,
can
that's
buy
where
it.
we
You can
started,
buy
but
jeans.
this again,
have you bought
It was-
clothes?
Yeah,
That's all
I have
you
a
see.
teenage daughter. You have a
That's
teenage
all
daughter,
you see.
and it is.
That's all
And my
they
kid
sell.
dresses modestly, and it is
Well,
hard
we're
to have
trying to
pants
get
without
them to be
holes.
not like the one else.
It's very hard.
Well, but that's
but
what they
at the,
sell. That's
at the
not,
same
okay,
time,
go
that
to
we have
Walmart.
people that
Walmart's probably the only store that doesn't have it that way.
even though
I mean, is it,
It's hard
okay,
for girls
okay,
especially.
okay, we're only
and this is going to
discussing,
be the question that
we're
everything needs to
only
revolve around.
discussing ripped jeans right now. Is it one disrupting the classroom where the teacher is saying, hey, I cannot teach, this is really disturbing, like we can't read because this girl has holes in her jeans? Is it to where your AP is, all day long after these kids with ripped jeans and they cannot get to anywhere else because of the ripped jeans?
Well, it's not so much the rip, it's how far up.
You
Some
have
of
to
them
place
come up
it.
to here.
That's why we
That's
say
a big-
excessively ripped.
Okay.
The thing is
And-
we
and-
want to quit looking at
If
it.
you don't,
Is the whole just a rip here because pants, like you said, the
I think it
kids
should
want to
be
wear
like the
those
mini
pants.
skirt.
Well, see,
You can't wear mini
okay,
skirt
for instance, like,
it
okay,
should be that, you
I
know,
agree
because
with what you're saying. I agree with you on where if they're extremely ripped and why are you even wearing jeans?
Yeah.
A bunch of these kids, they're budgeting whether they work at Sonic, wherever they're working, parents are working hard for their school clothes. They're going to want to buy it. You're going to argue at home. It's going to be a big ordeal. I don't understand why we can't allow them to wear leggings under it.
Well, that's
I'm
different.
with that. I
Well,
mean,
it
to
says
me,
it
the
right here.
Yeah,
parents
no,
are
but
the-
they don't do that. The kids
No,
don't do that.
but they don't have a choice. If that's what you're going to do. So I'm not saying now, because now we're getting into what parents allow at home. Now, if we're not allowing it at school, I understand just the jeans. But like when we have the ladies speak up front, showing your abdomen and your women parts back,
not
like that is
acceptable.
like, you can see it from a mile away. But if I have a rip on my jean on my thigh,
No, that's
I mean, and a lot of the styles nowadays, they have a little bit of colorful cloth underneath it. But I went shopping with my niece this weekend, and she personally doesn't like wearing rips on her jeans. It was so hard. You cannot find them. And not only that, sometimes you're starting at $100 and something. Even you go to Walmart. So if you check the sale rack, and that jeans has a little bit of rip on it, well, guess what? I'm going to buy those jeans. Now, if you say she's going to get sent home or she's going to go to lunch detention, okay, allow them to wear tights under it, because a lot of these kids, they don't just have school clothes and going out clothes. What they wear at the dance is none of our business. That's between them and their parents at home. But at school, at least we can meet them in the middle by letting them wear tights, or if it's above the thigh. Like,
well, what we talked about is we really want the kids in school, because if it's, dress code and you send them home to change, chances are they're not going to come back. And then we do have a clothes closet. And there's times that we do give them clothes, so we're not having to call you, because I know you're sweet baby, and I gave her lots of T-shirts. And so the rule is, if I give you a shirt, we trade it. At the end of the day, you get what you had on back. And so we do stuff like that.
We're not hearing any of this. She's not telling us she got dress coded.
Right.
We need
I
to
never
know.
told my parents anything.
and that's the point. That if we're sending them home, but then some girl just walked in showing half of her upper torso, who cares about the rip? If I'm going to walk in the school and I'm bringing tights and I'm looking at her with her stomach, I'm like, hey, you can't.
How do you?
You can't police
It's just
that.
like when you. So, we'll use my field. So, they talk about a cracked windshield on a semi. Okay, you get so many cracks equal to certain amounts of a dollar. How do you tell them you got to enforce how big that tear is, or how big that hole is in that jean?
If
Well,
I could
it'll
see,
specify.
if I
And it
could
becomes
see
their discretion,
your,
becomes the teacher's discretion, and then as a parent, I walk in and mine does, and I see a kid with tear jeans. They got holes in jeans. Well, it's not as big, so
Well,
it's
that's
still.
what you run into.
I mean,
because
it's still a
it's not
discretionary
seen all the-
thing. It's
all
not
the
a
time,
set
so why are we
deal.
fighting
We're
about
leaving.
that?
You
We're
shouldn't
going to be
be.
right back here next summer,
There's like,
arguing the same thing like we did last summer.
but you shouldn't
and
be
get nowhere.
arguing it. That's the point. You should
Well, could you
be
just say,
you
like,
should
And
be
if we
strategizing
call it
academic
required
shit.
tight
on dress code, that's all we would
You
do.
can buy
Required
one or two
tights
pairs
or
of jeans for
And I'm not knocking
We've
it
been
on
doing
them.
it for so long.
Well, that makes it more
Before they understand.
consistent. If you're saying
It's
any tear, whether
not
it's
something
a
that's
nickel size or a dollar size, if you
And of course you can. If you go and showing all of your private areas, that is very obvious.
But a lot
between
of
the rip
times
and
the
the knee.
girls come in, they may be wearing that, and they'll have a hoodie zipped up, and then then they try to unzip it, and we tell them, no, that's got to be zipped up.
But I mean, even if it's on the dress code, it still doesn't get enforced.
Everything we're talking about is directed at girls. And that's really not fair.
Sure it is.
Oh, we're not done.
We
We've
got-
got
we
other
got boys
stuff.
on
Yeah,
it.
everybody's included in this. We're just on ripped jeans
And
right now.
the boys, the ripped jeans go to boys too.
Right.
The boys wear the ripped jeans
But,
too.
I mean,
so they
it's
don't-
not enforceable if you still allow a hole in the jeans. It's just not. I don't care if it's from your thigh to your knee, or if it's just a size of that right there on the thigh.
Uniform.
Well, then you take it out and just allow them to wear leggings, and that will.
So if you have holes, you have leggings underneath it.
If you have holes, you have leggings. Now that was a thing a few years
I
ago,
remember.
even when.
This month.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. So if you have holes, you have leggings.
Period.
Period.
Okay.
And they're
All
gonna
right,
come with
done.
lace. And they're gonna come with
So you can't see
lace.
skin.
If
Basically
it-
what we're
no,
saying is we
yeah,
can't see
and but
skin.
even if it's lace, come with lace.
I'm just kidding.
Cover
So
up.
just a covering under the hole.
Yes,
That's how it
you-
needs to be.
Yes, you have to like go shopping and actually look at what it. And not only that, I mean, I just feel like we need to focus more academically
Agreed.
than what
I
you're
agree.
wearing.
I
Okay,
agree.
so what was the next?
If you go to the middle
Clothing
one,
must not be
We just-
strapless.
we
Yes.
wanted to add tank tops
100%.
and spaghetti
It
straps
should-
to that. Tank tops for our guys,
Mhm.
because it's not really clear on that one. Are y'all good with that one?
Yes.
And
For
then
shorts, what are the links for the shorts?
Is it fingertips?
it's mid-thigh shorts, skirts, short bottoms must extend to at least mid-thigh.
So what,
And the reason
didn't we
we
have that for the, I mean, also for the ripped jeans, and they'd have to be below that it was okay? Because it's not any different than showing skin when you wear shorts.
well,
The problem you run into that is if people have long legs, the mid thigh is going to be
but
different.
Shorts and
what she's
jeans.
saying is like if you allowed rips below the knee, how is that any different than wearing shorts?
Because because then we could go all day saying,
No, I
well,
agree.
you had a
That
hole,
was the
you
question,
had, so
though, right?
now we're
Right.
just saying, okay, those are considered jeans, cover up. These are considered shorts, we're gonna do mid-thigh. We good with that?
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Here's what they're
mid-thigh
gonna do
would be the
eventually.
same as
5
ripped
years from
jeans,
now, the
because you're
state-
showing the same kind of skin,
The
not anymore.
The state is
I
going
don't-
to pass
I don't agree with you.
the state is going to pass a state law because we couldn't even come to this conclusion with cell phones when we knew it was a problem 5 years ago. True? We knew
Absolutely.
cell phones were a problem 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Mhm.
It's going to get to the point because no school board is willing to take a stand and say, y'all cannot dress like thugs, or y'all cannot dress like hoochies, you cannot dress like homeless kids.
Well, I agree,
And,
but I don't.
and that's just the truth.
Don't write
We
that
had to
down.
wait. We had to wait for the state
Mary
to pass a
Elizabeth.
cell phone ban to take care of a problem we knew of that was affected stuff.
But that doesn't mean that it was such a huge problem, again, that our APs were out all day on cell phones at Lamesa ISD. What happens in Lamesa and what happens at Dallas are two different things. I also don't agree that wearing holes in the jeans are considered a hoochie. Now, I consider sagging, and I consider showing your rear end, and even then, I just think that they need direction, but we're not raising them. We are setting a standard, and we're saying you can't show a
We are
certain amount, they
partnering
are
with
here.
parents, and I like
We're
what she
partnering
said.
with parents, just
Partnering
like
with
she said,
parents
yes,
to make sure we
100%.
do this the right way.
I agree.
We're
But
going
if-
to be right back here next year discussing it. I'll assure you. Because we're not going to be able to enforce anything we do.
But if it comes, don't do it.
Well, no.
Just don't put it like we don't need to discuss it unless you get.
No,
Unless they're
I would rather
on
it
your-
not. That's why I met with them
We've
today,
got
because
a
I really wanted
citizen
them
here,
to say, no, we're not talking
that's
about
complaining
it.
It's
about it.
always a problem.
But she didn't complain about it. She complained about.
No, she
your-
complained about the dress
your-
code not being enforced
Right,
properly
not being enforced.
or uniform.
And that is.
And we can't do it with the rules we give them.
Right,
We can't.
but
Because
it
we
was
have so
run-
many excuses for them. I don't even have a kid in the district right now.
Well, we
You have
discussed
boys.
this. We discussed
Who has girls
this.
in the district?
Melissa,
Rebecca?
we discussed this. It just
What
never
do
got
you think?
changed. We
Okay,
did
this
this
is what
last year.
I'm gonna, this is me.
Or year before.
If you're
Year
wearing
before.
shorts and you're giving them that length, it should, I would think that as far as ripped jeans, you should allow that from that down because it's not any different than wearing shorts. Shorts, you're just basically naked all the way down from whatever the length is. So
we're saying
ripped jeans,
change the length of shorts, like let
I would,
them wear
I would,
shorts.
that's my
Mid-thigh,
opinion.
as long as it's below mid-thigh.
Mid-thigh.
I mean, I just said leggings because we'll go round and round. I just mean if there's jeans and you have a rip
I mean, I already know about
mid-thigh,
clothes and
I don't see what the problem is. I mean, if we look at it 5 years, the state could come up with it's not emotionally sound and they need it for their mental health to change their genes.
But like Ms.
So,
Scott
I
said,
mean-
there's a lot of school districts going away. More schools are not having dress code than having one because
And
Because
most
it
of it's
doesn't
because
affect
they-
academically.
That and, as you stated, they can't, it doesn't won't hold up. in
It
court.
won't because
But
you can't force
but
it.
we need to have it because then we have like that one that has everything hanging. Then we really can't say anything, and that's really a big problem.
If you
Well, that's why the
took this and then, like, as written, before we even start anything, and enforced it every day as is, you're in pretty good shape. Am I wrong?
then there's no way he's going to see everybody in that school. It's almost impossible.
No,
So
but
that
it's
would
just
have to be
teachers-
your
it's just
teachers
teachers that have
to
to do
help
it.
you. Yes.
I mean,
we depend on the teachers
100%.
to send them to or call us to go and dress code.
Now the tank tops and jeans are two separate things. So we're talking about jeans and I guess shorts. So can we agree on mid-thigh length shorts and holes below mid-thigh? And if she says, well, this is my only pair of jeans and it's above, we'll put some leggings on. I mean, it wouldn't be any different than what's going on now. I mean, what do you do now? You call the parent, they come and change it. You're not gonna actually fix. You're still gonna have to deal with this. It's just where it doesn't come here again and we discuss it again. That's the difference. So is everybody in agreement with
So they
shorts
can't wear
mid-thigh?
leggings under the holes?
Oh, you can. You can always wear
You
leggings.
can always, I mean, you
Yeah.
can, but I mean,
Absolutely.
What if the
Rebecca,
But what she's saying is holes are fine.
Rebecca
mid-thigh
is
down.
saying shorts. If you're saying that you can't show leg, well then you shouldn't wear shorts because the shorts are the same. We're doing mid. So if we could all
mid-thigh
agree on
shorts, it should be mid-thigh for the
right
ripped jeans
mid-thigh
down.
jeans down, and that everything is at y'all's discretion. So, I mean,
And so any holes above mid-thigh would require leggings.
Yes.
yeah, and just I mean, it's not going to be any different than someone coming in first period and say, hey, you need to call your parent. This tonight is not going to stop that.
No, it's still going to be up to the APs
Oh.
and the campus too.
I don't think we've ever been allowed to wear tank tops when they do it.
No, I just think
So,
it needs to be.
it needs whatever we do here, like Ron and everybody said, needs to be enforced.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement on tank tops. That's an easy one, right?
And sagging. Is that
Right,
what
it's
it
in
is
there.
there?
It's in
That
there.
was in there too.
Yes, ma'am.
V-neck,
Um,
but an out.
where did we end on holes? Mid-thigh and below
Mid-thigh.
is
Mid-thigh
fine.
and
Anything
mid-thigh.
above mid-thigh, no holes or
Yes,
leggings.
yes.
Can't show skin,
Right.
period. Agreed?
Got it.
Yeah.
The other one that they had a question about is at the very top, and after this one, I think we're good. Hair must be neat, clean, well-groomed, and of a natural hair color. That, and principals, I'll let you talk. I think the natural hair color part has become very hard to figure out what is and is not natural. And we don't have, I've had one since I've been here, and y'all remember that. It was a graduation girl. She had a blue highlight that the parent had played a lot of money and didn't want to get it out. So I just made sure it was underneath the hat. Nobody ever saw it until after she walked the stage. You know, but how do we feel about the natural hair color? And tell them, like, I think it would be good for them to know what examples you have. How often have you dealt with this, as April said? How often is this a distraction or not a distraction?
It's never a distraction, but because now a lot of the girls, they will get like the one strip
Stencils.
of pink or whatever, the stencils and stuff like that. To me, it's not impeding any learning at all. And you know, if they do have it, then they're having to turn around. They spent money to get it. Then a lot of times, well, we just spent all this money to do this. Well, we can't afford to go
So fix
correct it.
Mhm.
We don't have cosmetology at middle school. You know, like they could go to the cosmetology at high school, but even then,
If done wrong, your hair will
Well, but
just
even
hair
then,
is
it'd
messed
be
up.
hard to fix it. Turn it back to how it was.
To
right
me,
away.
and
It'll
sometimes
damage your
It
hair.
will damage, or if you're in cosmetology school and they mess it up, then what?
And to me,
it doesn't matter. The more important thing we need to focus on is the academics, the
100%.
attendance. I mean, those are the things that we
turn
really
this over to the back real quick for me, because I think we put something, we did add this to kind of take care of all the gray area. If you read the very last one, in addition, any disruptive, unsafe, or distractive item, mode of clothing, headwear, eyewear, tattoos, or appearance that adversely impacts the education process is not acceptable. To me, that's that when somebody goes overboard, this has us covered. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, you know, like nothing Ms. Jasper's talking about would bother me. If somebody came in with, if a whole family of kids came in with bright blue spiked mohawk hair, if it's disturbing the learning environment, I can go to that. I have that to lean on. So, again, it does have to be approved. It goes into this dress code is one of the things that does have to be approved for. So,
Personally, I don't have a problem with colored hair. I don't think that, I mean, I have kids in middle school and in high school, and I'm active in where they go. I've never seen anybody with bright red hair.
and you won't.
Yellow hair, distractions. I haven't. Very little do it. Like you said, you know, the pink and then they'll change it in a couple months and they're going back dark because the upkeep is hard. So, I personally do not have a problem. I don't care about what color they chose on their highlights, like I care about their reading of it.
Same. Anything else on that?
Do our coaches still hold our like football players and all that, like on Friday game day for them to dress up? That's what I'd like to
Yes.
see, if they're still doing it or not.
They do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We still
And have them groomed, and I like that.
They do.
Yes, sir.
They rely, yes.
We still, yes, sir. There's still a good job with that. Yes.
I think we hold our players at a higher standard than.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed, because your representation. Yes, sir. Do I have any questions over that? I think I've got a grasp of what everybody thinks, and I'll retype this up and send it to y'all before we.
Do we need to add something like with prom dresses? I think
Let them wear it.
No.
I mean,
I
honestly,
mean, it's discretionary. I mean,
Well, no, because
I mean,
it
at this
falls
point, it's
under
frustrating.
this.
Let
well,
them
I
wear it.
just don't want to come back again and
I don't
talk
think you
about
have to. I think that you just have to make sure that you enforce it.
I mean, at prom, they're not learning
You know,
any academics, learning to read or
Maybe
math.
it could be
They're
worded
not there for
any
that.
extracurricular
And good luck finding
activity on school
a
grounds
prom
must
dress that
therefore
does
I mean,
it.
they're not.
I mean,
They're there
that's-
to have a good time and
They
party.
just need to find a
Right,
dress
one
that
bit
fits
of
them. That's the
academics at
problem.
prom.
I saw
Some of
maybe
them didn't fit.
some of them didn't fit. I understand, but then again, it's not during
the only
school
thing afford.
hours. It's not funded by Lamesa ISD. The junior and senior, the juniors raise the money, and I mean, I just
Do they-
only
where
reason
did they-
why I
where
said
did they
that is
raise it
because
at?
we discussed this last year. We talked about it the year before. I just want to get it done tonight.
And enforce it
Stick
and
to
be done
it,
with
and
it.
do not bring it again next year.
Yes, ma'am. Gladly. Gladly. Okay, I'll retype the changes that I think we've done and send it to you guys.
Okay.
As far
Dr.
as the hair and stuff, we're not doing, we're leaving it as is, or what?
I-
Or stays
The
as
only one
is?
that spoke was April. How does everybody else feel?
I'm just saying, if you don't have anything in place, and then we start.
No, what I was gonna do is, I mean, unless y'all are against it, I would make that change right there.
Just to add.
It would say hair must be neat, clean, well groomed at all times.
Okay, that's.
My only comment is for it to be enforced.
Yes, I agree.
If you
So
take this
they're
and
not-
enforce it, you're
That's
in
the
good shape.
hardest
So
part.
they're not. Yes, make it easier for them. Yes. I
The
agree.
problem is that
No-
we put it
no
in place and then
exceptions.
it doesn't get enforced.
You let one thing go, and then two things go, and then three things go.
100%.
You gotta enforce it from the jump.
100%.
Just like we're gonna have to do the cell phones. Enforce
Yep.
it from the jump. Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Starr, come on up with your family. Wake up, guys. It's time. It's time. Christy's back, but she's not back at work. She had taken a vacation. That's why she's not here. And my principals were going to have an update, but with the length of the meeting, I wanted to jump to what I think is the most important thing. Come on up, Dr. Starr. So, very, very excited about Dr. Sue Starr coming to join us. I'm going to let her tell you her history. She's done everything. We got her from Lubbock, but that's just her most recent stop. She's been principal, she's been counselor, she's been assistant principal, she's been teacher. She's been mom, and she's mom again. And these two youngins are coming with her. And we're really excited to have them. We're both at North Elementary, am I right?
Third grade.
So, tell them all about yourself. I've already told you how excited I am to have you, but I'm glad the board finally gets to meet who I have been telling them about. So, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for the welcome. I kid you not, Superintendent Ritchie, Deputy Superintendent Stewart, Madam President, board members, it has been a pleasure. He has told me all about you, and some of you actually came to my meet and greet, so I was elated with that, because a lot of times you come from big school districts, you really don't see the welcoming part. It's more like, and you're there, and then that's it. So it was a total delight to just even see some of you at that meeting. Your core values line up with mine, which was one of the reasons why I so love Lamesa, and you guys have been so welcoming. We went to a meeting, Superintendent Deputy and I went the other week, and they were talking about your core values, and they were thinking about ways of writing it down, and I told them, you know what, y'all live it every day. Like, legitimately live it, like the way they welcome you, the way they're responsive. I can send out a text, I work a lot. That hard-working part of your core values, I work a lot. So I can send a text message out to Dan or Rich, and I'll get an immediate response. Like, I think Dan is eating one day, and he's like, I'm eating dinner, but he is texting me a message. So I was extremely excited to know that people are very, very responsive, and that they really want you to do your job at that level. So with that, he's already told you I've been a teacher 20-some years ago. Counselor, assistant principal, all of those things have built into the things that I do and share with my teachers, whether it be coaching, mentoring, my background academically. I have an education degree, I have a law degree, a counseling degree, an HR degree. You name it, it all. That's what I'm in a lifelong learning. I got you covered. So, and I use those skills, I kid you not, with our teaching staff. I use the policy. It was, I was back there writing, I said, you know what, they're speaking a lot about policy, and I like that, because I'm really into policy and not breaking and following the rules. And Madam President, you had a lot of great points on that, and I thought, I shook my head up and down like, please, please. So, and then when you said about the reading goals, listen, I looked at the scores, and I know we can do better.
Absolutely.
I received a report from, and that's going to be my BFF for the rest of this year, Jamie. She sends me all kinds of data, which I love because I'm a data person. I take it from every point. Any point there's some data pieces, I want to know why we did this and why we couldn't do it better. So for reading comprehension, I was talking to some colleagues, and they were like, and not these colleagues, I come up with lofty goals. And I typically am a person who would do a 3-year plan, but I chunk it in increments so that you don't overwhelm your teachers, and you don't come in there and say, well, I'm never going to give 50% go, because I hate that. When people say, well, 50% of my kids are going to do this. But what do I say about the other 50%? So we're going to let them fail? So I typically would do a bigger goal because I need it chunked in increments. So you'll see things like 80% or 90%, but I'm going to take our data points, I'm going to sit with teachers. We're going to talk about, well, how can we get from here to there over the course of the time, and what are my increments? And we need some real baseline scores. So we're going to do that. But one of the things I thought about was even the 80% of all of our first and second graders reading on or above grade level. That's not a big goal to me because, listen, he did tell you I've been a parent twice. I have a 30-year-old. And then I have my great niece and nephew, which are 7 and 8. I've done it with my own, so it can be done. So don't tell me we can't do stuff, because I know. I'll taught the first one. He's an aerospace engineer, and I didn't do too bad with him. They're going to walk the path, and they're going to do it too. So having everybody read on and above grade level at 80% at first and second grade, I think that will support our third grade campus. We don't have STAR test goals, but it will support them foundationally. So those are some goals. Like pre-K, knowing your vowel sounds, knowing letter recognition. All those things are small bits that has to be done, and we're going to track it. I believe in tracking. I believe we track, teachers track, students track. And then by that same token, parents can help, because if you sit at home and say, my child only knows 10%, now that's going to tell you something, right? So things like tracking with that, even when it comes to our math. I have math and reading goals. I think kids should know, like, numbers pre-K. They should know, be able to recognize it. They should be able to add and subtract in first grade. They should have the beginnings of multiplication and division by first and second grade. Mine did, literally. And I was in the classroom, but I was a good parent at home. And I knew the steps that we could take. And I've done it with regular classes. Like all of my classes, I think when I first went to Lubbock, which is hilarious, in my pre-K classes, they would say, well, our kids can't track because they're little. Your kids can track. They start when they're little. And then you just progressively make it a bigger tracking system as they get older. You teach it young. So I'm looking forward to implementing a lot of the things on my paper and all the goals, because I know it can happen. And I know we're a small community, but we can still do that. And so I firmly believe that. And I'm just very much delighted to be here and to get to meet all of you and to see your faces. I do want you out on the campus because we have a lot of things we're going to put in place. I was telling someone, Frankie does all the website. I said, he's going to get tired of me saying, let's put this on the website. But that, I think, will lead to parents wanting to come. And I think if the kids get excited about school, the parents will get excited about school, because I need you in the seats. And so your conversations about dress code, your conversations about other policies, ways of making sure we teach it young. They carry it forward.
Where it starts.
It starts somewhere. I bet if you talk to a senior, he or she has done this their entire time, you're probably going to get some pushback. But I bet if you start teaching it young and have the expectations young, you can see that progression later. So those are my thoughts.
Introduce who you have here.
And they would have preferred to just sit on their back row and play with those
Nope.
tablets.
We don't do that here.
I promise you, because I'm like, just keep it quiet. Just make sure they don't hear any of it. So you guys didn't even hear all the videos they were playing back there. But this is Riley. He's 7, and this is Danielle. She's 8. They both will be in 3rd grade because Riley jumped a grade. Riley would have jumped 2 grades, but he was too small and too immature. Then you wouldn't have wanted him in that 2nd grade from pre-K 4. You wouldn't. Yeah, she's best to stay away. But he has, he's that kid. He's that quirky kid that you'll find in your classes. As long as you guys get them, you have to motivate them academically. So I've experienced doing that. Motivating somebody academically that's quirky or nerdy but got it, can do it, the work. Or, like Danielle, she's smart. She's an A/B student, but she studies. Riley's an A student, and he's like, I do it in my brain, Danielle. That's him. And he probably gets on her nerve. But you have those variations of students, and I think, me having to do it twice, listen, I can write a playbook on it at this point. But yes, they would like for me to, this one's ready to go to sleep, for sure. You should.
We want your playbook. I'm so excited to have you here. I love everything that you're saying. You are the foundation of these kids. You are what's going to help them be confident in every grade level. And a lot of the times, I think when it comes to performance, how they act, how they carry themselves, that all starts from you. We come with students, parents, they're working 2 or 3 jobs. They don't always get to check grades. And a lot of the times, we need to educate our parents at a young age. It's like, you know what? The principal's there. Let me just ask her what this means. Or what does that mean that you sent a letter home and you said that my kid is on a level and he should be on a D? What does that mean?
What does that mean?
But just your presence here, you're approachable and amazing. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming here. I appreciate you. Thank you. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, Dr. Starr. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Danielle. That was all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going to the board action items?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What else do we have that's on board action?
Is that it? Just board action items? Okay. Deliberation and possible action to approve T-test calendar for 2025-26. Motion?
Make a motion to accept as presented.
All in favor? All in favor? Sorry.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So let me ask you on this next one. Central, y'all appoint the alternative appraiser.
It'll be Dan. Dan,
I thought that, okay, yeah.
myself,
Okay.
and
I thought that, I was gonna ask
Bauman
you
will be
about
the
that.
last. Well, me and Dan.
They're good to go. Okay. Deliberation and possible action to approve T-test alternative appraisers for 25-26.
I make a motion we approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Lamesa and Lamesa ISD for operation of our school resource officers.
I make a motion we approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to adopt policy to not allow homeschool students to participate in the UIL events and activities.
So moved.
All second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. So that's all the action items,
Yes,
because we
ma'am.
already did 5 and 6.
Did we cut Dan out of the picture?
Well, that's what I was about to say, April. Before you adjourn, I did cut some things out tonight because of the length of the meeting, but I did have Dan prepare some stuff, and you gave him something. So I would I'm going to have Dan start presenting at every meeting. If you just want to talk about the handout tonight and abbreviate it a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can real quick. I'm going to try to give y'all one of these every time. It's just kind of like a State of the Union as far as what I'm doing for the month, things that are coming up, like the things that we discussed that I saw that were issues that needed to be addressed was like our attendance and identifying teachers of concern. I like to do things in tiers, just like we do instruction, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So that's kind of what I did with our attendance. I have a tier 1, a tier 2, and tier 3, and basically it's guidance for principals to see that if they're hitting this specific threshold as far as tier 1, here's the steps that I should be taking as far as paperwork, phone calls, things of that nature. When attendance hits a certain percentage, we go to a tier 2. Another thing that I attach to that is an attendance contract that's signed between the principal, the student, and the parent, because it also includes the parent as far as things that they need to do to help with attendance as far as getting their kids into school. Another thing that we wanted to identify was teachers of concern, just basically a guiding principle or foundational document that principals can use and APs can use whenever they're going through the classroom. And if they're identifying a teacher that maybe is struggling, the steps that they can take to get them where they need to be to grow them as an administrator before it goes to an HR decision. So we wanted to make sure we had basic foundations and guidelines to make sure that it's consistent from South Elementary to the high school. The other things that I've done is I've updated the employee handbook. We do have the substitute orientation coming on July 29th. Here at the boardroom, we're expected, I think we're at 40 right now that will be in attendance.
And so if you know anybody that, because a lot of times he'll have those, and then a couple days later I'll have somebody call up. If anybody's wanting to sub, tell them to come.
And I'll hold multiple orientations. Last year I held 3, just in case we had some subs that came in later that wanted to come. And there's some special occasions that if I got to run them through an orientation real quick, I'm more than happy to do that.
I would say you'd benefit if you were retired or you were a sub here.
We pay really well.
Really well. Really well.
And then we haven't had any trouble. I mean, we've got a lot of luck finding subs,
I know we've
too.
so far, based on the applicant, but we have 4 retired teachers that have applied. So, we pay subs that if you have a bachelor's degree, $150, and if you're a retired teacher, it's $200, which is more than what you're going to get at a Lubbock ISD or anything like that. Just other things that I'm working on. I'm working on a compensation plan with TASB as far as to include all the fundings with the HB2 stuff and things of that nature. And then we're in the process of rolling out Skyward Q. So I'm assigning security roles to people as far as on the financial side and HR side as far as what screens and accessibilities that they can have within the Skyward 2 platform. That's what
And I know that was rushed, and that's just because of the length of the meeting, but he'll start having about 10 minutes at every meeting. So thank you for that, Dan.
We'll now go into executive session. Mr. Ritchie, you will not, and then I'll probably come and get you after.
I'll go to the middle room again. That way I'm close.
Yep.